on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this afternoon, Rivers State government urged to tackle Oyigbo flooding. NYSC denies handbook advice for corps members to prepare ransom when using high-risk roads. Resident doctors' strike lingers. On the foreign scene, influential sister of North Korean leader speaks on Korean War. I am Ifiemi Andrew. A stakeholder in Oyigbo local government area of Rivers State, Victor Opute, says the construction work by the state government and some of the roads in Oyigbo have contributed to the flood in the area. Speaking with our correspondent, he said when the various roads were constructed, drainages were channeled into homes.
Heavy flood have taken over the Oyigbo metropolitan area. The old Port Harcourt Road, the one they call Omundino Camp Road, the governor just built. And the Umusia Road, where they call Omuwari and the Omundino environment. And also this Mbano Camp Junction, that is at Oyigbo here, the road connecting the old Port Harcourt Road. This time it rains. Flood ravaged those environment. The reason is because the flood is moving to nowhere. The result of the flood is because the old Port Harcourt Road this current government did in Oyigbo, there was no proper drainage that we requested that the drainage moves to Imo River. And the River State government also built the Oyigbo-Eleme Road, the Omosea area. Proper drainage was not done. The work they did there, they collapsed drainage into people's residents.
Mr. Pute called on the state government to revisit the various roads and ensure a proper job is done.
River State government to revisit the old Port Harcourt Road they built in Oyigbo and underground tunnel drainage on that road connected to Imo River. Very simple. They have to revisit the Oyigbo-Eleme Road they did, the Omosea area, and do an underground tunnel in that area connecting to Imo River. So they have not done any of this. If they have done it, Oyigbo flood issue is a very simple matter that government can take care of. And it's not, I don't think it's something the local government can do. It's something that is within the jurisdiction of the state government. So do the needful on it.
As you may know, the state government had dismissed speculations that the ongoing construction work in the state led to the flooding of major roads and homes. Moving on, the management of the National Youth Service Corps has denied its handbook advice for corps members to prepare ransom when using high-risk roads. Refuting the content of the handbook in a statement, the NYSC management said the clause quoted is not embedded in the NYSC security tips pamphlet, which is said to have been put together by a highly respected retired security expert. The handbook was shared during the NYSC orientation exercise across the country to those currently undergoing the mandatory one-year National Youth Service in the Batch B Stream 1 cohort. The handbook is titled Security Awareness and Education Handbook for Corps Members and Staff. Under page 56, the handbook advised corps members traveling on high-risk roads to alert their family members, friends and colleagues to have someone on hand to pay off the ransom that could be demanded in case they are kidnapped. The book listed such roads as Abuja Kaduna, Abuja Lokoja Okene, or Aba Port Harcourt roads. Meanwhile, report says NYSC authorities in Cross River State have forced a corps member Ifiemi Fidelis, who was assaulted by a female army officer of the 13th Brigade Command, Calabar, Lieutenant Chika Viola Anele, over an argument to leave the state. This followed the arrest of Lieutenant Anele by the military police after a viral video showed her bathing a youth corps member who was kneeling with what looked like mud. Many Nigerians have condemned the assault on the corps member. The report is alleging a cover-up by the military. Reacting to the incident, the Director, Army Public Relations Brigadier General Onyema Wanchuku, described Anele's conduct as unprofessional, adding that she will undergo regimental trial in line with the extant provisions of the Armed Forces Act. Wanchuku denied the allegation that the brigade attempted to cover up the incident, adding that the Army had zero tolerance for indiscipline among its personnel. Moving on. The police have arrested 3 suspects over what their alleged involvement in the abduction of students of the Bethel Baptist High School in Kaduna State. Force Public Relations Officer CP Frank Omba, who named the suspects on Thursday, said they were arrested by operatives of the Special Tactical Squad.
These suspects, Isiaku Lawal, Muazu Abubakar, and Adamu Bello, aged between 26 and 27 years, played very key roles in the recent kidnap of over 100 students from Bethel Baptist School in Kaduna. These suspects are part of the larger gang that carried out that horrible act. We've generated sufficient intelligence and we are closing up on the remaining members of the gang.
An earlier statement said the police also arrested a robbery syndicate linked to about 50 armed robberies along major highways in the southwest of the country, all within the ages of 21 to 27 years. Still ahead, resident doctor strike lingers. Stay tuned.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
The national president of Association of Resident Doctors, Uyilawa Kwayesui, says the presidency is not aware of the true situation of workers in the health sector. While accusing those around the president of feeding him wrong information, he wondered why it is difficult for government to implement the memorandum of action it signed with the resident doctors instead of trying to force the doctors back to work.
The true picture of how things are run is not being told to the president. There's no reason why, when you have signed a memorandum of action for over 162 days, that basic things that needed to be done by the side of the government are not done. It would be easier to have gone around in paying members their salaries instead of taking us to court. It is easier for the house officers of 114 of them that have been owed different remunerations to have been paid their salaries instead of trying to bully us, to force us back to work.
As you may know, the resident doctors were taken to court by the federal government over the strike, which has lasted for more than 3 months. The executive director of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, has hinted that at some point the federal government will have to look into ways to ensure that everyone takes the COVID vaccine. Mr. Shuaib, who did not say whether vaccination will be made compulsory, said the government will try to respect the rights of citizens.
We know that vaccination is a valid tool, so different countries are beginning to look at ways of making sure that they achieve herd immunity so that they can begin to go back to normal lives. This is the conversation that is going on now in Nigeria to see how we can make sure that on the one hand, we preserve the rights of the individual, but on the other hand, ensure that those who are vulnerable also are protected, and the fact that people's rights actually end when the rights of others begin.
He also assured Nigerians that the vaccines donated by the UK is safe and approved by the WHO.
The vaccination being provided in Nigeria is recognized by the UK government. The UK government provides vaccines to our COVID-19 vaccination program. The UK government also procures vaccines from the same source, right? That is the AstraZeneca vaccine from the Serum Institute of India.
Meanwhile, the Lagos State Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, says the state government will soon begin the vaccination of children and pregnant women. The commissioner spoke to newsmen during a tour of the various vaccination centers in the state.
There's a push now to vaccinate, to clear everyone for vaccination, because we realize globally that if you leave some people out of the vaccination, particularly children and young teenagers, that you create an environment for the virus to circulate, which then continues to affect the general population. So I think as time goes on and as we get stronger scientific evidence, then we'll be able to reduce the age limit for vaccinating children or young people, and then we get some data on pregnant women and nursing mothers.
Nigeria recorded 433 new cases of COVID yesterday. Rivers State recorded 27 cases, while the FCT recorded the highest number of cases with 191. The NCDC made the announcement on its official Facebook page. Lagos State recorded 79 cases. Other states that recorded cases include Anambra, Plateau, Oyo, Delta, Ondo, Edo, Gombe, Akwa Ibom, Borno, Ekiti, Bayelsa, Zamfara, Enugu, and Kano states. 0 cases were recorded in Nasarawa, Ogun, Oshun, and Sokoto states. In business, Nigeria has recorded an increase in agro-food items exportation. The National Bureau of Statistics says Nigeria exported agro-food items worth 165.27 billion naira in the second quarter of 2021, representing a 112% increase compared to 78.03 billion naira recorded in the corresponding period of 2020, the highest on record. In entertainment, Harry Potter star Tom Felton was carried off a Wisconsin golf course after collapsing during a celebrity match ahead of the Ryder Cup. The PGA of America said the actor, who turned 34, experienced a medical incident and was sent to a local hospital for treatment. Pictures showed him conscious while being removed in a cart. Mr. Felton is well known for playing Harry Potter's rival Draco Malfoy in the film franchise. In sports, Chelsea will host Premier League champions Manchester City in a stiff test of the leaders' title credentials on Saturday, as Liverpool and Manchester United bid to keep pace with Thomas Tuchel's side. The Blues look well equipped to end the season as English champions for the first time since 2017, after signing Romelu Lukaku to add a cutting edge to their attack. But Liverpool, the 2020 title winners, and Manchester United are matching them, with all 3 teams locked on 13 points after 5 games.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
The influential sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un says they are willing to resume talks with the South if it ended its hostile policies. Kim Yo-jong was responding to a renewed call from the South to officially declare an end to the Korean War. The conflict, which split the peninsula into 2, ended in 1953 with an armistice and not a peace treaty. The 2 countries have technically been at war ever since and locked in a sometimes tense relationship. On the news this afternoon, you heard that the Rivers State government has been urged to tackle Oyigbo flooding. NYSC has denied the handbook advice for corps members to prepare ransom when using high-risk roads. The strike by resident doctors has continued. On the foreign scene, we told you that the influential sister of North Korean leader has spoken on the age-long Korean War, saying they are ready to talk. The news was edited by Choma Ezewafo. Contact our newsroom at 0818-900-0017. For more stories, visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Cloudy weather is expected in Port Harcourt this afternoon. My name is Ifiemi. Thank you for your time.